everyone, welcome to Two Car Pros. My name is Ryan and today I'm going to show you exactly how to change the oil in a 2014 Chevrolet Volt. This is really easy. It is super doable in a garage home type situation. Just because this thing is a weirdo hybrid that doesn't quite work like a Toyota Prius or something like that doesn't mean you can't do the oil yourself at home. It's exactly the same as a regular oil change, I promise, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. So this is where we're going to be working today underneath the vehicle. Right here we can see our oil filter and our drain plug. So let's focus on that. So right here is our oil pan drain bolt. It is a 10 millimeter. So it's going to come in here. Break that loose. Wow, someone really tightened that on. Can't they read? It's only 14 Newton meters to tighten this thing. Woo! So with your drain pan ready to catch the oil, maybe don some eye protection as well. There we go. That's some dirty oil. All right, glad we're changing this. And just let it all drain out. So now we can worry about servicing the drain plug. I've already kind of cleaned it off. I'm gonna grab a little hook tool. You could probably just use your fingernails, but then you wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing. And just dig that old O-ring out, throw it into the trash, and then we're going to clean this drain bolt. Some cleanser, you can use Carberry spray. I'm just going to use Windex because it's handy. There you go. Oh, it looks a lot better. And then what we're going to do is grab our new O-ring, link down below in the description, and just kind of put it into that slot. So it looks like that. And I'm just going to get some WD-40 and put it on this O-ring. Alternatively, you could just use engine oil, but WD-40's to hand to me, so that's what I'm going to use. And check that out. It is ready to go back on the car, but we need to take a look at our oil pan first. So the next thing we need to do is grab some carburetor spray and spray it on the oil pan, and we just need to clean this surface here. So right where the O-ring is going to mesh with the oil pan right here, that needs to be nice and squeaky clean. A little bit of oil can still be coming out, like a couple drips. You're probably never going to get every last drop out, and that's perfectly acceptable like that. And then we can replace our plug, making sure that we have lubricated the O-ring like I showed earlier. You never ever put an O-ring on dry, and then just make sure you're not cross-threading it. It's easy to do with aluminum. There we go, just down to touch, and then I'm going to grab my torque wrench. And then I have my torque wrench set to 14 Newton meters, just like it says on the pan. And snug that down. It's not very tight. There you go. If you don't have a torque wrench, that's perfectly fine. I would just describe that as wrist tight. So don't go nuts on it. All it's doing is holding oil back. And then I'm going to clean off any remaining oil drips just because I don't want any false drippies to maybe confuse me and think that it's leaking when it's actually not. So the next thing we can do is take off our oil filters. Sometimes they're not on super crazy and you can just kind of reach up there and get them off by hand. Other times, a pair of channel locks is your friend. Sometimes they make sockets for this, but I think a pair of channel locks can be a lot easier. And then just move your catch pan into position because it's going to leak some oil out. There we go. And just let that dribble on out. Or if you're impatient like me, and you don't mind making a mess, you can just do this. There you go. Have it come off of there, and then double check, look at the mating surface to make sure that the seal didn't stay behind. You can also just look inside the oil filter itself. Mine is definitely there, so that is very good. So road grime likes to kind of build up right here, so I'm just going to grab a terry towel and kind of wipe that away so it doesn't end up inside of the engine. That would be a total bummer. But now that looks pretty good. And then hose the whole thing down with carburetor spray, and we're going to clean that mating surface really well. We want that as clean as possible so nothing interferes with our seal on our next oil filter. Yeah, look at that. Then I'm going to clean up the bottom of the oil pan too. There's a little bit of oil on there. And check that out. That looks really nice. So on the workbench, we can now prepare our oil filter. And what do I mean by that? Well, first you need the correct filter, which is this Wix unit 57143. Link down below in the description. I do like the Wix filters. I also like the AC Delco filters. Those would be my two go-tos on this car. We remove our filter, and the reason the seal is already broken is because at the store I physically took it out and made sure that this seal is here. Sometimes, for whatever reason or another, they're missing. People can just yank them off. Sometimes they fall off during transit, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to deal with that. So just make sure that this seal is here because you do need a new one. And what we can do is get some oil on the end of our fingertip, does not matter what kind of oil, and we're just going to smear it on that seal till it's nice and moistened. Look at that. Very nice. Now, there's some people that say, oh, you know, you should really put oil in there to prevent dry startups. It's going to fill within a second. I wouldn't worry about that too much. Besides, you put the oil filter on sideways, all the oil is going to spill out. So there's really no way to do it on this particular application. So we can just go ahead and install that guy. Alrighty, we can just go ahead and put our filter on. Now, just make sure you're not cross-threading it. It's pretty easy to do because the filter is kind of light. So it should spin on just like that. And just like it says on the side of the graphic, and its tightness, you wait until it's basically all the way down like this, and then 3/4 turn additionally. What I like to do is just about as tight as I can get it with one hand, and you don't ever use a tool to tighten that. There's no real torque spec or anything specific like that. So you just do as tight as you can with one hand, and it is perfectly fine. Do not overthink this. So top side, we're going to remove our oil cap. There we go. And place our funnel. Right on. And then we are going to put 3.7 quarts of 5W30 full synthetic. Any 5W30 full synthetic will do the trick. I really like this Costco stuff because it's pretty good, bang for buck, but any 5W30 full synthetic will do, and I've left a link down below in the description for your convenience, so go ahead and put 3.7 quarts in. I know it doesn't really seem like a lot, but it's not a terribly big engine, so it doesn't need a huge amount of oil. And there we are, 3.7 in. Go ahead and get our funnel out of there and replace it with our oil cap. Nice. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the engine on and let it run for about 40 seconds. And then I'm going to turn the engine off and wait about a minute. Then right here's our dipstick, so we're going to go ahead and pull that out. Wipe it off with a nice clean paper towel or something of a similar kind, and then insert it fully down into the engine, come fully back out, and we can take a look at it. As you can see, it is right there at the end of my thumb, which is at the top of the cross hatching on both sides of the dipstick, so 3.7 quarts is right on the money. And the next thing we need to do is sit in the driver's seat. We need to reset the oil life interval because we can't just use the mileage like a conventional car because we don't know how much the engine's going to be on. The computer will know that, so what we need to do is go over here to where these controls are. We're going to use these to control our screen, and we're just going to swap over to the little oil lamp and then push select, which is the middle button, and we want to reset that. And we're back to 100, so it's perfect. And someone obviously reset it. There's no way there was 70 or 80 or whatever it said oil life remaining. The oil I took out was pretty darn dirty, so maybe it's a good idea to just kind of keep an eye on the oil yourself and change it when you think it's necessary or when it gets dirty. So that's exactly how you change the oil in a 2014 Chevy Volt. Like I said, really easy, really straightforward, just like a regular old car, and you're not taking it to the dealer and getting absolutely ripped off. I think I did this oil change for $35, something like that, and all the links are located down below in the description. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful at all or interesting, please consider giving a like or even subscribing. It really helps my channel out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.